All right, I think I finally got something that works. So, what we're going to do, I just wanted to run through a couple beats that you can practice, a couple things, maybe get you through the first month or so of playing around. And so the first is the straight 2/4 beat. So the hi-hat's going on quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you're going to put the snare on the 2 and the 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. So we got that. Let me turn myself down here a little bit. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the bass drum is going to go on 1 and 3, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I want you to notice a couple things here. We talked a little bit about dynamics, right? So I want you to hear how the hi-hat sounds. Notice it's not all exactly the same sound. It's got to have a little bit of motion in it, right? So as you practice this, that's something you want to consider. And don't worry too much about it. Right now it's just timing. And if you got to slow it down, slow it down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you had a metronome, I'd say practice to a metronome, you know. 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and because timing is important, right? But I want you to notice how my hand is doing this. Axe, boom, 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 boom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's a little bit of dynamic, right? Remember we talked about dynamic. Not making everything. Sometimes you see new drummers do this. And that's okay to start, right? That's okay. But I want to show you where you kind of want to get. Now, the next thing we talked about is adding the kick on the two first beats, right? So right now it's just on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're going to add on the 1 end. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And we can just try doing it every time. And then 2, 1, 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And then you can even try adding it on every one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that might seem like it's easy just kicking the kick every time you hit the hi-hat. It's not. It's not. And then we can, so we started with just the 2/4, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? Hope my drum's loud enough in here. The next we did the 1 end, right? The bass on the 1 end, just doing 2 bass kicks, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we should try the same thing. Again, when you're learning the drums, you want to try switching it up and trying, okay, if I do that with the bass, what if I do that with the snare? So what if I do the snare on 2 end and 4 end? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you hear a lot of that, you know, kind of that 50s rock, right? You there's something you don't understand, and you, right? You hear it, just that one. The bass of the second one goes a little bit later, but 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. So again, think about mixing it up a little bit there. Now, one song, again, that I think is real good for you to practice and to take it a little bit slow would be Come As You Are by Nirvana. It's a little bit more complex if you look at it. One thing I like about it is you can build up a little bit more to it. But if you start, you know, yeah, if you know the song, no 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 come as you are, as you were. You can just do that. As I want you to be, as Now, what he gets into is he actually adds more in there. But if you're practicing the stuff I showed you before, you should actually be able to get there. Now, the other thing he adds is he adds a, is it an eighth note or 16th note? I think it's a 16th note, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because these are quarter notes. Quarter notes, so he's going to add. So one thing you're going to notice, so if you get into the song, and again, I don't know how much you like Nirvana, but it might be a good song. You got a shirt, so maybe you like them a little bit. So one, so boom, right? Just the basic 2/4, boom, and then really the bass drum actually follows the melody of that song. And it's all on the hi-hat. It's all exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What he starts doing, and as you go through the song, what you can then start doing is adding that little 16th note. So you're going to hear it here. It's going to go. Now, did you see that? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So see that beat? That's the one that comes in between. Maybe it's an eighth note. I got to practice my notation, man. I think it's an eighth note, right? So don't tell your music friends. So this time we're going to start. Let's break that down a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now we're going to add one in between. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so yeah, so he adds that eighth note in there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to throw the bass, right? We'll start it really easily. So you start that, just try the snare. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then add the bass in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go from where we started, right? So we started with the simple beat 2/4. Then we added the bass drum twice. Then we tried it with the snare twice. We did the bass drum every time too, right? And you can choose to do it with the snare or without. So notice sometimes I'm doing kind of 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm not hitting the bass when I hit the snare. Whatever's easier in that respect, just to get you started. So we did that. So straight 2/4, doubling up the bass. 2/4, 1, and then doubling the snare. And you can also do 2 kicks on the bass, 2 kicks on 2 on the snare, right? Then next, we added that eighth note, right? And notice it's right between the hi-hat. And again, take it slow. Take it slow. Start slow. Start just the hi-hat and the snare, then add the bass in. Okay. The other thing I like about Come As You Are is it's got a really nice little fill, right? Real nice, simple. But I thought it's important as I wrap this up, I don't know when I'll get to do this again, but to just talk about, doing some fills. Because you do want to do that, and you want to practice your sticking right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And that's something you can do. You can practice this. I can't remember what it's called. It's the rhythm scale, I think it is. Ooh, see, I gotta practice my stuff. But essentially, you start slow, and then you pick it up, and you try to see how fast you can go. Keeping all the notes very consistent, right? So notice everything's consistent, and then slowing it down. And the slower is the hardest, because you'll hear the difference. You can try doing that with accent notes. So if you want to do it, so that was kind of doing very lightly. You can do it with harder. And of course, you're not going to go that fast. So that's okay. That's okay. That's okay, right? Then you can try take that same right, left, but just bring it down the drums and bring it back up. Okay? And take it each tom. You can even try doing one hand on the toms and one hand on the snare. Okay, whoops, whoa. You could try doing the same thing, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, so that's something you can try. Same thing with the paradiddles, right? Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Then you try taking it down the drums. That's really hard, but again, I'm trying to give you enough to get through the next little bit. And just doing that, okay, is a lot of, it's going to be a lot. And again, the key is consistent, trying to make it nice, trying to make your notes sound the same. And your stick holding is really good. So notice, so you're good there. The other thing you can try in terms of that is try doing stick bass. So this is actually something that I really struggle with, is doing this. And you can try doing right, left, bass. That, for instance, I'm just learning the Bonham cross. It's literally left, right, bass, left, right, bass, left, right, bass, left, right, bass. So, yeah, and I'm struggling with that. It's so simple, left, right, bass. So yeah, I can't do it 3 times in a row. I can't. I gotta practice. So, let's repeat the fills, right? So just go right, left, right, left, right, left. Speed it up. Try dynamic, hard, soft. Try to keep your notes very steady. Try going up and down. Practice going up and down the drum, going with one hand, going with the other hand if you really want. That's kind of awkward. You usually don't cross over that much in drums. And then doing with the bass, right? Right, left, bass. Now, one other thing in drumming is always trying to do the opposite. So if we start right, left, bass, we should start left, right, bass. And as you can see, I struggle with that because I don't practice enough. Left, right, bass, left, right. So, in summary, the beats, we're going to practice 2-4, then put the bass twice, right? Boom, boom. Try the snare twice. Add that little eighth note. And then for our fills, we're doing right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Right? That's all it is. Right, left, right, left, right. Yeah, and then the other thing, I think it's good for now. Okay, well, I'll give you a little bit more. If we're going right, left, we did the paradiddles, right, left. We can also do right, left, just the doubles. Doubles are really important, obviously, on drums. You know, that's a pretty much crunch roll. Doesn't sound good on electric drums, but that's pretty much what you're doing, just 2. But doubles, you're actually, you're doing it. And again, same thing. You get them right. When you get bored of this, just move it around the drums. All right. So there's some fills. There's some basic beats for you to practice to get going. I hope this sounds all right.